Rescue dog Duke saves dying baby. Without having raised the animal, it's hard to tell how they'll transition into your home. But Jenna Brousseau and her husband Eric didn't let this bother them when they decided to welcome Duke into their growing family. After being passed around from animal shelter to animal shelter, Duke was brought home in 2006. Right away, the Brousseaus lauded him not only for his obedience, but also how well he got along with the couple's young son and newborn daughter. On a recent night, however, Jenna noticed Duke was acting strangely. Suddenly, he jumped up onto the bed and started shaking uncontrollably. Given that this was a far cry from his typical behavior, the couple sensed something was seriously wrong. At first, Jenna and Eric wrote off Duke's behavior as nothing serious. They even tried to push him off their bed so they could get back to sleep. But he was persistent, and every time he'd jump back up and start shivering. He started shaking as if there was a storm coming, Jenna recalled, of the frightening incident that took place in the middle of the night. Clearly, something was the matter, and they needed to know what, fast. After a few moments, the couple began to realize that their dog was trying to tell them something, and they instinctively thought of their baby daughter, Harper. Had their dog really been so perceptive that he could sense something was wrong with their child? At that, Jenna and her husband rushed to their 9-week-old daughter's bedroom to see if something was the matter. There she was, lying in her crib. But something was clearly not right. What they discovered terrified them. Harper had stopped breathing and was lying motionless in her crib, and clearly Duke was trying to tell them about it. They had no time to feel relieved, however. This was a life-or-death situation. Jenna lifted her daughter and started to pat her on the back, hoping she'd start to breathe again. Meanwhile, Eric hurriedly dialed 911 to call emergency responders to their home as soon as possible. With their newborn daughter's life at stake, Jenna and Eric were willing to go to any length to rescue her. They continued to try and pat Harper's back, hoping and praying that something would cause her to start breathing. With each excruciating moment, the family grew more and more horrified. Had they found poor Harper in time to save her life, or would they be too late? It was a scenario no parent would want to be in. A few minutes later, and much to their relief, Harper began to breathe. There had clearly been something lodged in her throat, but there was nothing in her crib to suggest she'd eaten anything. That was when Jenna and Eric realized that Harper must have suffered from acid reflux. They could only assume that something had upset her stomach while she slept, and she began to choke, which stopped her breathing. Luckily, Duke was around. The parents were forever indebted to their beloved rescue dog. "We rescued him, and he reciprocated and rescued our daughter," Jenna said of the alert pooch. "Duke, without a doubt, is a hero to us. He's our family's hero." Duke's story was incredible in its own right. Just before the Brousseau family adopted him, poor Duke had been passed around from shelter to shelter. In fact, had they not taken him in, he probably would have been euthanized. "We could never justify spending money on an animal when there are so many animals that need rescuing," Jenna said during an interview. "We've always felt from the beginning that Duke was appreciative of us rescuing him." "He's the perfect dog," Jenna said. "He was meant to be ours. I tell him all the time, you were born in mommy's heart." She hoped that Duke's story would encourage more people to adopt a pet of their own. If Jenna and Eric hadn't decided to adopt Duke, there's really no saying what could have happened. One thing was clear, though. They know that choosing to bring him home was likely one of the best decisions they'd ever made. There was no specific reason as to what caused Duke to notice Harper had stopped breathing. Whether it was a sixth sense or animal instinct, they couldn't be sure. But what he did certainly prove that, no matter what, he was a hero. The love and affection that Jenna's family had for Duke was something that couldn't be captured by words alone. You just have to see it in their faces and hear it for yourself. Watch this video for a look at the original news broadcast of the story.